All righty. Good evening, everyone. And thank you all once again for joining us for this very informative, very important, and timely conversations with one of the best organizations I think I've worked with and worked behind the scene to see how things will actually go before the show. And these are some of the most interesting, most dynamic members of a great organization, RRGBC, Repairing, Restoring, and Growing Black Communities. Real quick, little about the goals is to save really the Black community and the Chicago area by working to strengthen the Black businesses in our community. And so every week, Wednesday night at 8 p.m., you will be seeing guests from all over the city, always trying to bring before the audience someone that is doing some amazing, remarkable things to make a difference in the Black community. Tonight, we are very pleased and just blessed to have a very powerful, dynamic brother, Akbar Kurt Muhammad. And this brother is an interesting force in the community that has brought vision into action. And so I am really, really looking forward to posing some questions, hearing from him and just having a conversation regarding the success, some of the challenges, and some of the visions that he will continue to have. So if you're watching this, please share this with your family and friends on Facebook. We're live right here in the studio. And so you don't want to miss this show, not at all. So without further ado, we will bring on, and we're going to also have with us one of the founders, Sister Doris. And I'm telling you, Sister Doris Lewis is one of the most, I would say, bar any, this is one of the most committed, one of the most serious-minded, and one of the most loving Black women on the planet. And so, oftentimes, you see a bunch of other people that they put out front for our people, and they really are not the real deal. Well, Sister Doris is the real deal. I've known her for a very long time, and she is absolutely a sister that will tell you the unadulterated truth. And she's not about sugarcoating the struggle and the solutions to some of the problems that we face as a community. So let's go and get this show on the road.
Thank you so much, Brother Gregory, for those kind words. Really appreciate it.
Yes, yes. I'm looking really forward to having the conversation with this brother. It's great to highlight individuals like this and others that really are a great example and a shining light in the community. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and zoom this brother in. Brother Akbar Kurt Muhammad. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you all.
Let me can I
Gregory?
Yes, sir. Before every show, I like to give. I found this prayer, and it's a prayer of empowerment. And this prayer goes like this: Lord, strengthen us, for we are weary. Increase our power, for we are weak. Allow us to put this knowledge into practice and rise like the phoenix from our current situations to transform our lives and the lives of our families and to be a blessing to those who are the least, the last, the left out. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And let me tell you something. That prayer is something that we need, because when you look at the damage that have been done to our community, it need repairing. And so we're spiritual people, and we know that there's plenty blueprints out there, lots of agendas out there, lots of. I worked at Independence Bank of Chicago. I witnessed, Mr. Boutte and George Johnson and Mr. McSween and so many others who were board members and was involved. We witnessed these folks be the example of success. We know the story about Rosewood. We know the story about Tulsa, Oklahoma. We know what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to do in America. We know, there's so many other successful stories that we can't rely on the media to tell us, but we do know some historical situation that they point out. And so this organization that Sister Denise, thank you, Sister Denise, and Denise could not be with us tonight, but man, may God bless her. Her mom was a little ill and she had to take care of business, but her and Doris and Brother Simon, they are behind this whole effort right here. And I'm telling you, brother, today, talking to you, I read a lot about what you're doing and how you were able to take your vision into action. And what motivated you to not give up? Because I know you had a vision, and right after 4 years, the place at, I think it was 611 West 67th Street.
613 East 67th Street.
Right, 67th Street, where the laundromat is, right? So, and you went to various people, entrepreneurs, to see if you could get a buy-in from them to say, let's develop this, and nobody moved, and then you decided to take charge. What was that all about?
Oh, brother, praise be to Allah. I'd like to first open up by giving praise to God, the Lord of all the worlds, most gracious, most merciful. I bear witness that there is no deity deserving of worship but Allah, and I further bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet all of you, brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Salam, sir.
Well, I am so eternally grateful for the leadership and the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for his continued inspiration in my life. Also his national representative, student minister Ishmael Muhammad, for making a friend of me and spending quality time, one-on-ones, dialoguing with me, allowing me to share with him some of my visions, and allowing me to be able to bounce ideas off of him. And then also my big brother, Brother Abdullah Yassin Muhammad, the son of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who I'm actually at his boss, Nuar house here, directly across the street from Mosque Mariam. These were great inspirations and entrepreneurs that continue to be able to give good advice. So getting back to your question, Brother Gregory, you said something that was so poignant. We've had all these great examples in our midst. When we reflect about what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did with the fish business, and you talked about other entrepreneurs who moved and made things happen within the city of Chicago, I begin to wonder what happened. Because we got all of these great examples, and we as human beings, we need to see role models, certain individuals who are like forerunners in front of us, to be able to understand how we could duplicate what has been done thus far. So for me, being in the coin laundry business, it was an instant struggle in itself, being able to establish something there in West Woodlawn. And I had hoped that somehow other entrepreneurs would be able to see that this community definitely needs some type of experienced entrepreneurship to be able to revitalize it. And I think after studying one of the books by Dr. Claude Anderson, it's called Powernomics. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
He said that Black people are in so deep, deep trouble. And he said, we have to react and act now. Because he said before the Civil War in 1865, we had 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. And now today,
that's right,
in 2021, we still have 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. So the question became is what happened? And since we know the history of what took place, we realized that through integration, we began to lose some of the businesses and entrepreneurs within our own community. So I began to go to work. So I began to look for access to capital, other investors that would be able to lend money to be able to pull in. And I took a cash cow business of laundry, which is an essential business.
Yes.
Especially during this pandemic. Because when you think of COVID, you think about the other things that needs to be cleaned and sanitized. Laundry is definitely essential. So I don't know if you know this, Brother Gregory, but the laundry business has doubled in revenues. So I've been blessed to be able to utilize that as a core foundation to be able to use those resources and put it into a disinvested community. My first response was to talk to banks. I went to First Midwest Bank. They told me no. They said, we're not doing any loans during this pandemic. I went to US Bank. They said no. I went to Chase and they chased me away. So we had to be able to deal with a cash cow business that's being able to become a necessity within our own communities, that I was able to use those funds to be able to pour into a disinvested community such as Westwood Lawn.
Let me tell you something, brother. Your name is so fitting for you. That name, Akbar. And it really, man, means to me accomplishment. Everyone who have been, well, not everyone, but those who have been given that name or have taken that name, it's a name that really represents who you are in terms of taking charge of a post. And the post is not a post at Mos Mariam or post at the final call, but the post is don't say what must be done, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, get up and do something. So when you see the plight, as you did, the vision, you didn't do that just to make money, but you're trying to show that we can develop our community. And when you think about Lincoln Yards, I mean, it's a pathetic shame that we are at war and don't realize it. And so a businessman like you and all around those areas are filled with crime and potholes and people that have lost hope. And you know, they need the laundromat. So when people come into your establishment and use the machines, what is the decor and what is the culture that you have created inside of there that they know not just it's a no nonsense and a zone free from foolishness, but what's around it and what's inside of it to let them know that this is yours?
Well, I like that idea, Brother Ronald. And one thing you made mention, you used the word tribe. And I constantly share with my other business associates, please don't utilize that word tribe, because we're not trying to do anything. God has already given us the ability to do whatever it is that we need to bring into fruition. We need to just go to work and pool our resources together and begin to inculcate what needs to be done within our own communities. We established the name Your Neighborhood Laundromat. And in that word your, you have the word why and you have our. We utilize that as a way to be able to share with the people within our own communities that this is your neighborhood laundromat. And this is why it's your neighborhood and why our neighborhood laundromat, because it is time for us to begin to do something for ourselves and quit looking for other individuals to come into our communities, whether it be the immigrant people, which we love them, but why should we depend on having other people come to our communities to be able to do something that God has given us the gifts to be able to do for our own selves?
And then don't love us. you know, and don't respect us.
They really do not.
We don't respect ourselves. So anybody knowing how disenfranchised our community is, knowing how our community is eating off itself, and they will put their life at risk to put in an inferior, nasty store in our community. And I'm calling it like a nasty gas station, a nasty J&J's, a nasty Sharks, a nasty nail shop, and a nasty Dunkin' Donuts. Most of those places, those things are filthy. But more than anything, the money leaves out of our damn community and goes.
You got it right on. God, and who do we blame for that? We blame those who are knowledgeable and don't take responsibility for what needs to be done. It is on our hands to do what needs to be done. Those who have the knowledge, we can't sit back and just complain about the problem. We have to get up and go to work and begin to do something for ourselves to change this narrative, because no one is going to do it but us.
Yes.
And you're right, Brother Ronald. The dollar doesn't.
Gregory. I take Ronald. You can put Ronald. I think I'm going to put Ronald as my middle name. But Brother Gregory.
Brother Gregory. I'm sorry, Brother Gregory.
But that maybe Ronald. Let me see. Gregory.
Right, my mistake.
That's all right.
But yeah, we definitely need that, brother, to be able to have a community where the dollar bill would circulate longer than 6 hours. You know, that is a shame, because we don't have the bill circulating within our own neighborhood more than 6 hours of a time. So what can we do in order to begin to create that narrative? My thoughts would be to create a holistic community. And did not Claude Anderson, he said start with a city block. I sat down with him. I sat down with Dr. Umar Johnson. He says the same thing. Start with a community block. Just start with one block. Take it and begin to do what it is to bring in revitalization. So on 67th Street between St. Lawrence and Champlain, we have the Salam Community Wellness Center.
Yes.
What is a wellness center? We say that what makes a community well is first and foremost the health. The second of all, address the food insecurities, because we know our communities are more like food deserts.
Yes.
We don't have good, healthy restaurants in our own community. So we're opening up How to Eat to Live Cafe. We also have the entrepreneurship training facility that'll be there. And these are some of the things addressing the economic issues, the food insecurities, the health issues that continue to plague our own communities.
Yes.
And also an urban garden. We want to deal with fresh fruits and vegetables and something to connect us back to the earth within our own community. So that's what Neighborhood Laundromat in itself is involved with. Not just cleaning laundry, but
talk
cleaning
a little bit more about the wellness center. I love that concept. So it's open right now, right?
That wellness center, we have 2 months to the grand opening. We're doing a virtual grand opening next week.
Oh, beautiful.
We have 4 medical doctors that's over that whole facility. Dr. Constance Shabazz, she's a director of the facility. And your brother here, I just bought the property and we're doing the whole construction of the area.
Wow. So now here's a wellness center. Will you all at this particular wellness center, I know you're going to promote wellness and health and holistic remedies to everything that plague our community. And what's some of the other services that will go on in that community? I mean, the wellness center that will be very, very instrumental in getting our community educated and healthier.
Yeah, basically, Dr. Constance has created an entire curriculum, if you will, where we'll be dealing with deep breathing exercises, Tai Chi, acupuncture. We'll be dealing with the best of Western medicine as far as medication and medical treatment. We'll be dealing with also yoga. I mentioned yoga because yoga is a very powerful thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We're going to be able to extract the best of Eastern modalities as well as Western modalities to deal with treating our people. And we do know post-COVID, as we're dealing with this pandemic, it has increased the level of mental illness that we're experiencing within the Black community.
I agree.
Social distancing, not being able to gather one-on-one with our brothers and sisters, and not having that social interaction surely has had an adverse effect over our psyche within our own neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's
what we're going to address.
Yeah, that's powerful, and it's so interesting, and it's really a deep conversation when we talk about the all the effects of this quarantine and etc. And with that being said, regarding the pandemic or pestilence, how did it affect the folks were still coming to the laundromat, or did you shut down for a period?
Well, praise God. The laundry from the very beginning or its inception continued to be an essential business. Shutting down a laundry would be almost like shutting down a grocery store, because minimizing the pandemic and its whole spread, we said that the laundry and cleanliness surely has an impact over stemming the rise of the COVID. So they deemed the coin laundry as being an essential element of our own community. So we were blessed in that aspect to be able to deal with social distancing. We had signs put up. We had requesting for people to come in 6 feet apart. Early on in the onset of the pandemic, we removed all the folding tables, and we had people come in and place the clothes in the laundry machines and wait in the car, wait outside until the load was complete. Wow. And we had attendants helping. And then we also picked up the wash and fold business. For those people who did not feel safe enough to come in and do their laundry, you could just drop it off and we'd wash it, dry it, fold it up, and have it ready for pickup. So we're still continuing to do that now. Wash and fold, pick up and drop off, and drop off.
Oh, great. Brother Akbar, how do you see yourself advancing your role in connecting with other Black businesses to keep the dollar circulate in the Black community and encouraging other Black businesses, women and men, to do the same?
I think, brother, that the only way we could do that is to continue to put information out and then continue to invite those to come in and see exactly what I'm doing with business. I know business is a form of warfare, and we have to have trade secrets and protect certain things that we do. But I think that if we continue to operate in our own little silos, totally disconnected from others, I think that we're somewhat doing ourselves a disservice. So what we did thus far with Neighborhood Laundromat, we put together an African American Laundry Association, where we have other individuals who are in the laundry business that are of African American or Black descent to come together and discuss certain issues with the industry of laundry. I've also gotten involved with other different groups that are dealing with businesses. I've got plenty of entrepreneurs that I mentor. There's the Foodie Spot restaurant, 73rd and Stony, which was an investment from Neighborhood Laundromat, because we're a clean restaurant that would serve our own community in the South Shore area. And then we have other businesses that my shopping mall on 71st and Yates, right there in South Shore. We've got plenty of entrepreneurs there that I continue to mentor on a regular, ongoing basis. So I consider myself to be blessed in order to be able to do what I can to be able to share information with other people, striving to control some of the economics within our own neighborhoods.
So you are collaborating with and having conversations with other Black businesses and developing that, which is very, very important, because when you think about and just to know the whole concept around this organization is to repair and to restore and to grow Black businesses so that our community will benefit, because most of the psychological stuff that you had mentioned, most of the educational stuff that is going on, most of the crime that's going, all of it is wrapped around us depending on a government, depending on folks who ain't gonna ever, have never, will never bail us out I don't care how many stimulus checks they pass out. Our community, until we thrive, until we do what we need to do for ourselves, like you are doing, and others must do, we as a community, then we're going to be behind the 8 ball forever. And so we do this
Yes.
in a very, very big way, because you know that I read something, brother, that you had to go and do some research to find out that the banks owned those properties. And how did that go?
Yes, brother. That was a daunting task, because my first thought would be to go to the local alderman, and it was this alderman's name was Cochran, and
Yeah,
he was
Willie Cochran.
Willie Cochran. And I went there on 3 or 4 occasions, but I could not get him to give me the guidance that I needed. He kept going. And then finally, I said, man, I hired an attorney. The attorney did all the research on the property, and she could not find the owners. She said they just disappeared. She couldn't find it. And the only thing the alderman would tell me is somehow the persons that were conducting business over there were doing it unethically. And whatever they were doing, they got shut down, the entire business district.
Wow.
That's the only thing the alderman would tell me. So I went down to City Hall. I spoke to a lobbyist, Kathy Brown. She went in to connect with her own individuals. We didn't get any success. And finally, Kathy was able to talk to Cook County Land Bank. And Cook County Land Bank with Rob Rose and Elisa Sanders.
Right.
They reached out to us. And they said that, okay, we are going to take this property and bring it into the land bank, but you'll have to bid for the property. And I said, oh man, I already know how that goes. Things in for an open bid. You may not even have the opportunity to even win the bid, because oftentimes a lot of that stuff is political.
Yes.
So we were blessed. Initially, we lost the bid. And then somehow the individual who was prepared to receive the bid and put the money up in order to close out the deal, they didn't come forth with the money. So the deal came back to us. And this goes to show how God had set this up for our own benefit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the deal came back to us, and we purchased the property for $55,000 cash.
Wow. All praises due to
hey, brother, I thought it was an excellent deal, but until we started gutting that place out. Brother, there was metal beams that were rusted out. There were bricks, foundational work that needed to be done. So we've been working on that thing from the foundation up. If you come by and take a look at it, we've been out there working daily, getting the building finished up. But it was not an easy project. And that's basically what we did to be able to put it together.
Well, it's really deep that when you had gone to the alderman, and the alderman did not know what was going on. But it's interesting. I see that you have a team, and I'm glad to know that you have a team, and you got my good brother and very good friend of mine, Yassine, on the set. And but for me, I love the fact, man, that you have beyond determination. You have this vision, and I see you as being, after you've gone, and I love the fact that you have no shame. What is not even shame, but you've gone to others, brain trust, to get their blessings, to get their expertise, to discuss some of the strategies and et cetera when it comes to, building a community and dealing with some of the things that we have to deal with. Because the other thing is, how do you change the mindset and the behavior as people come into Black businesses, and how do we treat our own people when they come to do business with us and they're a little out of order?
I think that is a big challenge for us in laundries. You almost been reading my mind, brother. You must have heard about one of my laundromats, right? Is that why you asked for that question, brother? You must have showed up over there. Especially the one on 79th and the Dan Ryan, right off the Dan Ryan Expressway. That's West Chatham. Yeah, but I constantly have to train my staff to let them know that, okay, understand this. We've been a damaged people. and oftentimes hurt people.
Mm.
And do you realize, this is my discussions with a lot of times with my staff. I said,
Yeah.
you realize that laundry is a very daunting chore? Why do you think we had these big 80 and 125 pound washers that does 12, 13 pounds of clothes or 13 loads of clothes in one machine?
Yeah.
Why do you think we have large capacity washers? They say, I'm not really sure. I said, because people don't like to do laundry. It's a very daunting chore. So they bring in hundreds and hundreds of pounds of clothes that have stacked up for weeks and weeks at a time. They're there not because they want to have a good time at a restaurant or a movie theater. They're there to do a chore. And understand this, that many of our people have a lot of issues that are going on. And so we have to understand that and do it our best to be able to create an easy situation for them as they're there. If we have a malfunction with the machine, don't give a customer a hassle. Start another machine up for them. Provide soap, whatever is needed. We want to create the best experiences possible for this consumer in order to be able to come in and do a very daunting chore. We don't want to make it worse. So with that, it's almost an ongoing requirement of training and teaching my staff to understand the psyche of our people coming in to patronize, because our people come in already with a negative perception that we're going to be somewhat inferior, somewhat marginalized, somewhat less than a decent standard of business practices within our own community. So we have a music station called UMix.
Oh, okay.
And every couple minutes, our brother Troy, he does like a reminder, warning. Oh, thank you for coming to your neighborhood laundromat. Warning, the dryers are very hot. Please be careful from removing your garments from the dryer. Just different messages that are over the speaker. And then after that, the music continues to play. And we offer different information to kind of relax the environment, if you will, while people are doing a very terrible, daunting chore. You know?
Man, that is so beautiful that you do that. What about so the laundromat on 79th Street? How many do you have?
We have 8 locations. We're on 79th in the Dan Ryan, 47th in Lake Park, 95th in Jeffrey in the shopping mall there. We're also located on Chicago Heights, 515 West Lincoln Highway in Chicago Heights. We're on West Side on Roosevelt and Holman, and 71st in Yates, 7120 South Yates. So we've got the laundromat there and the entire shopping center.
Oh, nice. Look, guess what? Now I feel real good because I have gone to the one 3 times. To the one, I mean, I have a a wash and dryer here, but I had a large a comforter.
Okay.
And I brought my comforters over and I was able to drop them off and the lady put them on the scale and etc. And man, she was so amazing. I didn't know that was your laundromat. So
thank you, brother.
I can tell you, man, it was excellent. I came back, they was folded and they went into plastic. Man,
isn't that so cool then? Especially for a brother like you, they're busy doing other things. And I'm sure your time is so valuable. And then a lot of people, they utilize that service because they rather do other things.
Oh my God. And I'm telling you, the service was so excellent that I've gone back 3 times and it was amazing. So I could give a testimony that the service is excellent and the spirit inside of laundromat was very, very good. And now laundromats is a big deal. What are some, and I know the wellness center is coming in a couple of months or so, the grand opening. What else are you planning to do that you know is missing? I know you know the food deserts, and are you looking at, because it looked like it's time for a grocery store. I mean, Mariano's and everybody else making money. What are some of the other things you all have vision to do?
You know, Woodlawn did not have a grocery store, a real grocery store, for 40 years in that community over there. Yeah, they have a little small Aldi that's there, but Jewel's just came in that area as well. A little bit further north. So we, in one of the sections there, we do want to have grocery right in that whole corridor. because that's something that's important. Do I desire to open up a full-scale grocery store? I think that I'd like to encourage some of my other business associates to be able to get involved with something like that. We did have an opportunity to go in the grocery business at a location on 47th and Cottage Grove.
Okay.
And we visited some of our immigrant brothers that are in Moss Foundation out on 87th in Harlem, where they have Pete's Produce that's out that way.
Right.
I don't know if you've driven out there in Bridge.
I've been out that way.
My gosh, that Pete's Produce is totally amazing. And I said to myself, we need something like that within the Black community, and we need to control some of the grocery stores. I wish someone would take that location on 79th, right off of Calumet. Remember, that was a Black-owned grocery store there.
Yes.
I think it was called Certified.
Yeah, before that was Food Basket.
Food Basket. I went to Rodgers. That's the school right across.
Yeah, Rodgers, yeah, right there.
And that was a Black-owned grocery store. What are we waiting for in order to take that over?
Yeah. I used to shop at Food Basket. Then we had another one right on, I think it was another one right on, it was like several Food Baskets. One on not Jeffrey, but Yates, right off Yates.
Right, 79.
Yeah, another one. So, but I'm glad that, not so much you stand in your lane, but there are some folks who that is their forte, and we just have to, like with this organization, we just making sure that we continue to talk about coalition building.
Okay. I know how we can do it, and I think that Allah would bless us if we moved on this. What I did was I hired a Securities and Exchange attorney. And he put together what is called a Reg D, Regulation D fund. And with this Reg D fund, it enables us to be able to raise funds from accredited investors, up to $50 million in 1 year, and up to 35 non-accredited investors. Now, we didn't go with the Reg A fund, which is a lot better or a lot bigger, but we're starting with the Reg D fund. And with this fund, we're in hopes that we will be able to talk to some of the other investors that are already in business and are doing quite well to be able to put money into the fund. And then from there, we'll have an entrepreneurship training facility. And with these entrepreneurs, they'll come in and they'll recite to us their business plan, their feasibility study, their pitch deck, their credit report, along with their credit score, and we will fund a microloan to be able to give some kind of a seed capital to be able to go into our own community to do what it is that needs to be done within the community. I got the idea from Stephen Rodgers. Steve Rodgers is a Harvard professor and a graduate from Kellogg School of Business. And 4 other professors are traveling all over the entire country. And the organization is called Inner City Capital Connections.
Oh, wow.
They seek out entrepreneurs that are operating in zip codes that are in challenged communities throughout America. And when Steve Rodgers sat down with me, he says, Brother Akbar, I see what you're doing, but why don't you have 100 locations as opposed to 8? He said, because it seems like to me, all of the efforts that you put in to do one here, you say you've been doing 1 or 2 every year, seem like you can do a roll up and do 100 of them across the country. He said, and then those locations that you're in shopping centers, he said, what are do you own the land? I said, well, some of them I do own the land. Others, I'm a long-term tenant. Like my location, I've got a 20-year lease on Lake Park. I own the dry cleaners and the laundry, but they're 20-year leases. He said, well, you're a modern-day sharecropper in that respect.
Wow.
Said, yes, sir, Mr. Rodgers. Yes, sir. In many aspects, with those locations that I don't own the land, and I did everything in my power to go to the landlord, who is 85 years old, and I told him I'd like to buy the property. He said, why? I said, because I'm an anchor tenant and I've been here for 10 years, and I got another 20 years on my lease. I'm the anchor tenant here. I'm the draw for this whole mall. Oh, so why wouldn't I want to buy it? He said, it's not for sale. And you need to get it out of your mind. This is for my family, for my son. But even though he doesn't care anything about the area, this is for my family. And I looked at him and I said, well, why wouldn't you want to sell it to me if they're not interested? You need to get it out of your mind. You hear that? Just get that out of your mind. And to me, when you look at situations like that, you're like, wow, look at what we're up against. People who are embedded in our own communities. What can we do?
And that pisses me off, brother. That bothers me to no end. How many employees do you have? And do you have like a marketing formula? And how can someone invest in doing what you do? And then the other thing is, another question, and I know you won't forget this. Do you think the aldermen are a hindrance, to that? I won't say all of them, but I'm just going to say the aldermen, and you could just say, the experience because in every one of your facilities, the different aldermen, I think, almost.
Yeah, and you're right about that, brother. And politics, according to our teacher, has never really been the solution for us, because politics without capital and money and assets to back up your vote and to back up the things that you want to be able to get the alderwomen and the political figures to do on your behalf becomes meaningless to cast a vote to certain individuals and you don't have the ability to back it up. And I reflect back over the Asian community. I don't really think that they're really into politics at all. And depending on the aldermen and any political figures to do anything to change the condition of the community, because they're busy building, doing business within themselves.
And aldermen have to come and kiss their ring. Politics,
they deal with economics first.
Yeah, look, politics, we've been told politics without economics is symbol without substance.
Go ahead.
But I love the fact that what you said is we have to get so powerful that the alderman, that the congressman, that the senator, that the president, that the whoever, they fear us and fear us in the way that we have enough money to where we can buy them out and influence the people by employing the people. That's why I asked, how many employees do you have?
We have 63.
63.
63, yes.
You have 60 people working.
Yes. You know what I reflect back on? Yassine just told me this the other day, that when they would call his father to invite them to the White House or to down in Washington, D.C., or to any downtown city hall, you know what he would respond by saying? Mm-hmm. You can come to the palace. I'm right here. Come on over here to 4847 South Woodlawn. You know where I'm at. Come here to see me, because he established a whole base of economics. Come by to see me.
And you know what, brother? You are so right. And one thing I know you will agree, the other ethnic groups, although they're not outwardly involved, like politics is going to be the end of all things, but behind the scene, they talk to whoever they need to talk to behind the scene.
Yes.
And you never see them out front making the stupid statements that if we don't vote, we gonna die. Yet if we don't feed ourselves, we gonna live.
Right. Absolutely, brother.
But what's the formula, the marketing formula that you think you could give out to people?
Yeah, I think that one individual, Grant Cardone, said it best when he said obscurity is our biggest enemy to success in business, obscurity. So the biggest issue is having to be able to continue to get your brand out there to the public, getting your brand out to the public, getting involved with certain things within the community, becoming active within the community. That's what helps to build a brand and get the business out there. We've got brother Akbar Muhammad at Being Times.
Oh yeah, my man.
He's doing a campaign for us. I'm involved with the mosque. I try to do things within the own community to support other entrepreneurs and what they're doing. I'm supporting brother Julius McKinley I helped him open up a location on 79th and Avalon, laundry.
Okay.
First
Good.
time going into business there. And now he's doing another location in Harvey, Illinois. So I was out there with him yesterday, measuring, doing the measurements, doing a complete build out of his location and everything. He's coming into the industry. I'm engaging in other Koreans, but the Koreans is hard to penetrate. Many of them are like 80 years old, 90 years old. They're ready to leave the business, but they're ready to pass it on to another Korean, you know? And
but isn't that deep? They want to pass it on because they believe in generational wealth. And in their brain, just like they are able to pass on their properties, and you know, they have what they consider to be legacies. But when you look, that's why we have to give out your formula. You've been studying, you've been paying attention, you've been taking notes, and you have been taught by the best. So you have to get that out there. For instance, what are some of the main challenges? What laundromat is more profitable out of all 8? Which one is more profitable?
That's a really good question. I would have to say that the most profitable one would be the one that I have on 79th, right off the expressway, 160 West 79th Street.
And what do right?
And the reason why I would say that is because the price per square foot is less than it is in Kenwood Hyde Park. Operation costs, price per square foot in areas like Kenwood, Hyde Park, much more expensive in terms of the overheads. So when you're looking at it that way, that would be the most profitable. But the one that has most volume would be over in Kenwood, Hyde Park, because of the density of population there as compared to West Chatham. And then West Side, you know, the West Side is the best side, right?
The West Side is the best side.
The brothers and sisters over there, they get it in.
I love my West Side folks.
I love them, brother.
Well, you know, before our people start moving around city of Chicago, when we came from Mississippi, we went to the West Side first.
That's right. Yeah.
We weren't welcome on the South Side.
That's right. That's right. That's right, brother Kurt. You're right.
A minute before they all of a sudden Negroes start moving to some of these other areas, and they start measuring themselves like they had arrived and made it. And our community have gone backwards. The minister was so ever right. The unraveling, he said the unraveling, but I would say, I ain't changing what the minister say, but I would just say unraveled. I think it's unraveled.
That's right.
It's a perpetual thing where it's unraveling as we speak. But when you look at a businessman like yourself that's successful, you know, you have challenges in this business. And
well, I have a lot of
what's the main challenge that you have that you know you have to be concerned with?
But you know, brother, struggle is ordained, and it's all necessary to build up character. And we try to run from struggle and difficulty, but struggle and opposition is what builds character and strength. And I welcome it. Bring it on. The challenges that I have in business are many. You know, there's always going to be city inspectors. There's always wanting to
city inspector
on every little thing that is, because we know that the city needs money right now, right? And you've got a mass exodus, believe it or not, leaving out of the city of Chicago. So, you know, the city is working very diligently to continue to increase the revenue base. I think that another challenge that I'm experiencing in business is the constant technology repairs, keeping all the equipment to a certain level of maintenance. And I've worked very diligently to train a group of 4 brothers that are on the team now. 4 entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs, but I got 2 of them that are independent. They have their own little repair service. I taught them how to repair washers and dryers, and they come in for me, and then they deal with other businesses. And I've got 3 full-time technicians. So I think one of my biggest challenges is equipment maintenance, continuing to deal with maintaining the equipment. People come in, Brother Gregory, with an ID in their pocket, a sock, a baby sock that may get caught up into a drain, something like that. It continues to go on and on. What else? Oh, access to capital is always a big challenge. You know,
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that quite often. You know,
Yeah.
before I forget, before we leave this conversation,
Sure.
the Koreans, are there Koreans that you know of that want to pass this on to their children and refuse to do business with us, and they just determined, even though their children, as you said, in many instances, don't want the business, you know, period.
Well, I know that the location that I was vying for, and I'm still vying for it now, is on 65th and Cottage Grove. It's Family Watch. That location has been inundated with problems within that West Woodlawn community. It's in the 3rd district, but if you read a little bit about it, there've been shootings over there.
Oh man, it's horrendous up there.
Yeah.
Did any of your places, when they were doing the protesting and the rioting, did they break into any of your places?
We had one. Some of our cousins came up in there on 70th. Damn right, our cousins. You know,
couldn't get there.
We put black on
fast enough.
We put black on, and my gosh, I parked out there. I'm looking on the cameras, and I'm seeing maybe 100 people coming up in there to come up inside. Only one.
You have the brothers to go to all the locations and stand out.
All the brothers went to the location. We had the walkie-talkies on in, and we was making our rounds all around.
All get to that one fast enough,
brother. We couldn't get to that one fast enough. And the one on 71st and Yates, we had Darius and a couple other entrepreneurs that were there, and they were there, but they were there with semi-assault rifles, and they said black on, black on. And as the mob of people were coming that way to the mall because they wanted to do damage, he said, "This is black on, black on." And the first group of people, maybe 50 or 100, they kept on moving. And then the next group, he said, "Black on." And one of them said, "We don't give a care nothing about none of that." They started unloading the vehicle with bricks and stuff like that. And another guy came outside of his restaurant and shot a few shots up in the air. And then they scattered like roaches, bro. They just scattered on out of the way. But that was the only scenario that we had over there in South Shore. In West Woodlawn, I think that the brother who's across the street from me, his name is, what's the jerk place? Jerk 48.
Okay.
Brother Jerry's. He was confronted with issues over there directly across the street from me.
Jerk 48?
Yeah, Jerk 48.
I'm for Jerk Villa, so I don't go to no place but Jerk Villa. You go to Joe sometime, but
man, give him a try, bro. Jerk 48 right over there. That's a good brother. He's working very diligently. He's directly across the street from me. He owns the entire city block.
Brother Akbar, how's the Black Chambers? How do they treat you? Are you connected with the what I don't know. What do they do? But anyway,
the Black Chamber of Commerce, I have not found any, but I'm sure they're doing some work.
So I can tell you this. Check back with Sister Doris and Denise. That's one of the things that this organization is doing, right? Here, is RRGBC is connecting the dots, trying to find out who are these people.
There you go with that try again, brother.
Now, let me take that off.
Thank you.
They are.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. They are connecting to all these individuals.
Go ahead.
That say they are the Black Chamber of Commerce and finding out exactly what are they doing with their resources, if they are resources, how are they connecting the dots? Are they at all taking care of the businesses in our community in terms of making sure that city inspectors don't come playing games with you all and giving you all a hard time because the city is in a deficit? Correct. So I asked that question because we have these entities around, but are they connected at all with you all that are doing magnificent things in the community?
I haven't heard anything from any Black Chamber of Commerce, but I welcome to align with anyone that has the same goals and efforts that I do.
What I want to see is you. I want to see Trez. I want to see Yaya. I want to see Emmanuel that got the cyber community. I mean, the cyber security. I mean, all down 47th Street, there are a lot of successful Black men. Yeah. I missed a few, and more than a few. I want to see all of you all form a strong coalition you know, of black businessmen and the women. But
Yes.
I said that because it's typically competition, and then sometimes you could get all of those men, those think tanks together,
Yes.
and it's some remarkable things that we can do even outside of 47th Street.
Go ahead, brother. I welcome that. I welcome that. And you tell me what I need to
Are
do.
you familiar with some of those brothers, right?
I'm familiar with Trez. He's at the coffee place, right?
Yeah, the Sip and Savor.
I met him one time.
On the ice cream shop. That's our brother.
I know brother Yaya, but I met Trez, and that brother's doing remarkable things.
And brother Emmanuel is the brother that in that same the Rosenwall. He have the cyber security
I didn't know
there, and then there's some black doctors inside there. We gotta form a united front, and because if we don't, other folks, immigrants, as folks like to call them, they will continue to invade our community, knowing that they do not like us, they don't love us, they don't respect us, and then we don't respect ourselves. So why do business with people that don't do business with you?
Thank you. That's definitely a great quote, and I definitely live by that. Brother Gregory, I want to ask you one thing. You're familiar with banking. So with the fund, I've been told that we could utilize this fund to deal with CRA monies, Community Reinvestment Act monies. And these larger big banks have to put money in to certain lending institutions.
Oh, yeah.
In our own community. And what the immigrants have done, they go out, I'm talking about those out in south suburbs in Bridgeville. They form a coalition of business owners, and they went and opened up their own bank. And they said in the banks that they open up, they utilize the CRA money, right? And that money is earmarked towards disenfranchised or disadvantaged communities. And I'm thinking that the fund would enable us to be able to do that without going through the measures of having to open up our own bank or even our own credit union, but a fund that we can raise up to $50 million a year, and we could utilize that. And then once we build up a certain amount of money in the fund, then that money's from Bank of America, Chase, they would have to earmark a certain amount of money into what we're doing in our fund. So that to me would be the goal. Fantastic. Not just getting the business owners together, the Trez and the Yayas, but to getting it together and also have a plan to be able to put something into this, pooling the resources together, and then begin to stand behind other entrepreneurs who want to come into the business and deal with business in our own community. That's what needs to be done. And we're doing that.
Yeah, and we have someone that we could talk with you guys about that is really knowledgeable of how to make that work. So Sister Doris and Denise, everyone that come on this show, we're highlighting you all. We're absolutely sending this information out because we know there's folks out there that want to be successful. Sister Doris and Sister Denise, where did Sister Doris go? Yeah, Sister Doris.
Yeah.
We got just a few minutes. Are there some things that you want to mention? Because I'm telling you, the minds behind this whole mission, man, is Sister Doris and Denise. And trust me, I wouldn't be involved, but when you got committed sisters like them, man, these are the vanguards of our community, and they not just sharp, but they not playing no games. This is war, and they serious, and they pissed. To be very honest, we're not happy right now.
Yes,
because we see the deterioration of our damn community. And it's one thing to have flourishing businesses, but it's another thing, man, to be transforming the mind and the hearts of our people.
Brother Abdul, this is so refreshing. This is so refreshing. And you have been taught by some of the same people that I've been taught by.
Okay.
And I love Minister Farrakhan. I just love him. So I've learned from him and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Claude Anderson. So we're on the same page. But I just want to thank you for all of this wonderful information. And we have made contact with certain people that we can get you in contact with that can help you do what you're talking about doing. And I also posted that the president of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, he had an article in the Final Call, and he said that, and I'm paraphrasing, that he realizes now that we have to say Black people, because when they say people of color now, they're talking about everybody but us. So, we can help you. We will do whatever we can to promote what you're doing, get people involved in what you're doing. So just, Brother Troy has all of the information to reach us. So let's make an appointment to just talk about what you're talking about, pursuing what you're talking about in terms of and things of that nature.
Yes, thank you, Sister Doris. Definitely would want to be able to continue this conversation, and we're working and moving forward. We have a CFO, Brother Amari Kamal, MBA brother, and he's working on the pitch deck now, as well as the ask. And what will the ask be?
Well, we will set up a time where we can just have a business conversation and just talk about all of the things that you mentioned, this program that you just talked about, and just how we can get other people involved in what you're doing. And if can individuals who may be interested in investing, can they do that too with what you're doing?
Absolutely. And can we as a Black people take over one or two different industries?
Absolutely.
Because we control the laundry and dry cleaning. We control that whole industry.
Yeah.
And we start with an industry that we dominate, just as the Indian people come in our community and they're opening up all these Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, that's right. And you know what? The reason you're getting this pushback is because they know what we can do. They know what we can do. And as Brother Gregory has said, we are very serious about this, because as the minister has told us over the years, we are going to have to do for self. And I'm all for doing for self and helping my people advance, because I'm very upset about where we are right now. It's ugly. It's not pretty. That's why the children they're shooting and doing all these things that they're doing. There are no opportunities out there for them. Yes. And these other people don't want them to have the opportunities because they want to push them into these jails. So we're all on the right page. I am just so thankful to Allah to have met you through Brother Troy, and let's stay in touch. Amen. Thank you again so much.
Yes.
Yeah, brother. And thank you, Sister Doris. Hey, self-improvement is the basis for community development.
That's right.
And if we don't use that already blueprint, already wisdom, already knowledge, sound knowledge, but what we got to do, and we're doing it, is connecting the dots. Because we can't be talking about we at war and we got these enemies. No, our worst enemy is our disunity.
Go ahead.
That's our worst enemy, is our disunity, and not really ready to work together and get past all that other stuff.
But just think about it.
We don't like each other either.
These people are in our community, and they bought land and property, and they are determined to stay there and make their children rich off us.
That's what it is. That's right.
That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. And I'm going to do everything that I can vested in my power. And I mean this, man. Look, but I like what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, Sister Doris and Brother Akbar. He said, don't just condemn a dirty glass. Put a clean glass inside.
There you go.
So even if they stay there, let's put the clean glass there. And let's give people something to choose from. Because when they see yours produce, when they see yours mom and pop store, yours gas station, yours Dunkin' Donuts, yours this, yours that, and then we running it, because that's how we got to do this. Some of them are not leaving, but the competition, we got to run them out of business, because our business is going to be so magnificent that the people going to stop doing what we used to say, Doors, back in the day. They say, why people going over there buying the white man ice? What they think?
Yeah. It's colder.
No, in that time, it was their mentality.
That's right. But thank you so much, brother. Thank you,
man.
It really was a pleasure.
And make sure you call Doris.
I will. I want everybody to save the date, though, because you know the grand opening and fundraiser is Sunday, March 21st from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's a virtual grand opening fundraiser for the Salam Community Wellness Center.
Oh, okay.
And the website is SalamCommunityWellnessCenter.org.
Can you say that again?
SalamCWC.org. Salam Community Wellness Center.org. It's right on the screen, Brother Troy mentioned.
Okay.
Beautiful.
SalamCWC.org.
The grand opening.
Virtual grand opening, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, March 21st. We're expecting you to be there.
We'll be there.
Be there or be square.
Be square. Amen.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Sister.
It's a pleasure to meet both of you.
Thank you, the greatest producer, Brother Simon, one of the greatest producers on the planet. Is behind the scene. This man just like to stay behind the scene, but he makes sure that this thing go right. And our sister Denise, we pray and hope that God sends his angels, his medical angels, to help her and the mom and everybody else out there that's having some issues and challenges. We pray that God will bless all of us through whatever it is that we're dealing with. And more so, I pray that he continues to empower the mind of Sister Doris and our sisters and Denise and them that really say what they mean and mean what they say. Amen. So with that being said, man, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we look forward to connecting with you again. Every Wednesday, we bring in successful brothers like you on here so people can see and hear that we can get out of this condition. So have a wonderful night, brother, and may Allah, God, Jehovah, Yahweh, however people want listening, you know, because sometimes people get all freaked out.
Oh, yeah, they do.
That's the Muslim. No, that's your people.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for allowing me to be on your show and to represent what I believe to be a great solution to many of the dilemmas that exist, and that is begin to get up and begin to do something for self.
Yes, I can't wait to bring my comfort over there now.
Come on now. Where's Akbar at?
No, man. I don't even need to see Brother Akbar because I see your representatives and they're doing a damn good job. So have a wonderful night, brother. Look forward to seeing you again. Peace and love.